Thank you for joining me again for the Trail of the Green Man. We have another video here regarding Johan Valentin, Johan Valentin Andreae, and it's the chemical wedding of Christian Rosenkreuz, a believed third manifesto and often overlooked. It's a bit of an allegory if you read through it. In fact, when you think about it, the training that when you read through this book, allowing you to solve the little puzzles is pretty much spot on for what you need to do this kind of work that I'm presenting to you now. And I'm just going to take a look at the front page for us just to start with. I'm not going to delve deep into the publication, but I'm just going to take a look at the front page and I'm going to highlight for you the word arcana. Now we're going to do a little bit of interpretation here based on the knowledge that we already know, the knowledge that we've gained throughout the previous videos, and apply it here. Now, what I'm going to show you here is, and this is from the Cryptomancy's book, there's a video on that available from the website as well, Gustav Salini's Cryptomancy's, and in here it just gives us the 24-letter alphabet and a numerical value that we've been using throughout, just to allocate a value. But I just thought it would be easier to see here because we're going to have to switch a letter based on its value. It's quite a simple one though. Now, the value of n, as you can see here, is 13. Now, if I was to want that to say, now this is where the interpretation applies. If I was wanting that to say Arcadia, now that would mean I would need a D and an I. Now the value of D is 4 and the value of I is 9, which is 13. And the value of N is 13. Now there's nothing there that says that we must do this. You know, we must make this swap. This is just interpretation. But when we add more interpretation onto that and it starts to build a picture, so what I'll do is we'll just kind of move on. Now, if we look below it, we have this word ergo, and we have this spare R here, or we'd be looking at Arcadia ego, and we begin to think about this et in Arcadia ego, or in Arcadia I am. Or there's a few different translations, obviously, but for our purpose, et in Arcadia ego. Now, we do have an extra R here. Now, based on what we've just done here in using a value for numbers and letters, we need something a little bit more stronger than that, because just changing things based on numerical value, we need some type of like instruction. And if we look here, the first thing that we see is R go, as in get rid of the R, or in its larger context, I'll zoom in for us here, we have R gone with the NE, as in remove the R. So the first one used like a numerical value, an alphanumerical system, substituting letters for numbers, and the second part is just simply telling you to remove it. So that would give us Arcadia ego. And if we look here, we have an E and a T. I know this is us just taking letters here and from here and here and fixing what we want to see, but it's the collection of letters, because the next in is beside it as well, IN, for et in Arcadia ego. And what just kind of brings us along is I am. There's something there to help us understand that what we've done is correct. And if we take a look at the bottom here, well, before we'll approach the bottom picture, it's quite nice little carving, I'm going to highlight a couple of things that's going to help us understand here. Now, running into this, reading backwards, we have PAN for pan. Now this is what I've strongly put forward as the green man, Pan having his horns, and Pan, his seat or his home would be Arcadia, based on myths and legends. So to see Pan here, based around this scenario that we're putting together, is quite helpful, because when we look underneath it, we have RAM for ram, and a ram is like the adult goat, and Pan being half man and half goat. And if we look here, MEN for men, and it's sharing the ram. I know men is plural for man, but I think it still puts the point across that here we have ram and then men, and above there we have Pan. These are reading into the two main words of what I'm putting through as a cipher of et in Arcadia ego. Now, what else we can look at is the picture below. If I just highlight something for you here, we have some runes, and we have an owl in a gentleman's hat, and then at the bottom right, it's two travellers or two shepherds. They seem to have a stick and things, but there's definitely two of them. Now, when we keep those items in mind, I'm just going to put some lines between them. And what they seem to, they're sticking to this 3, 4, 5 triangle arrangement. I'm not saying this is absolutely like spot on alignment for extracting some kind of letter or word. It's just saying it's curious that the position of these three items are in such a way. And if we kind of have a look here, the et in Arcadia ego was first done by a certain Gerasino. This is not his full name, but this is what he was known by, Gerasino. And when I look here, I see Sino, Goa, Gosino, and the gentleman's name is Guercino. So it's not exact, but it's enough to hint Sino. And then et in Arcadia ego was also by Nicholas Poussin. And we do see backwards Buson, Buson, all reading in this one little point. So if we take a quick little look, maybe we can gain some understanding here. If we look at the Gerasino first example, we see an owl here in the top right sitting in the branch. And considering we've got an owl here, and then we also have some runes. It seems the painting is built up around this kind of runic background. And we have some runes here. And then we have two travellers or two shepherds. And of course, back in the picture, we have the two gentlemen. So it's not too much of a leap to start to think that this is indeed connected. And if we think about it, we have runes, R, an owl, O, and then two, or travellers. I imagine two. It's hard to distinguish what they would be from this kind of distance, which would be T, and that would be ROT, and that would spell the word rot. And if we look back at the picture, you can see this nice head, gentleman head, sitting on this block plinth. And looking back here, the head's nothing but a skull now, and there's the plinth. So thinking ROT, that rot could explain what we see in this picture, or it could explain what we see in the woodblock carving based on this picture, taking the R for runes, O for owl, and T for two, or travellers. It could be shepherds as well, and the whole concept is just two of them. It's an interpretation. But if we take a look back at the Gerasino picture, The three things that I can really highlight is this rat, the fly, and the owl. So if I just highlight these, you see I've just lit them up a little bit so we can see them. I can place a heptagon, a 7-sided tomb, on this picture, and it follows the alignment. I guess it's very simple. The alignment is basically just one angle, which is why we can place this, and the distances have just been set because of the distance between the fly and the owl. If I put the centre line in, we can see that it takes in the rat. So we have this kind of alignment going on, and because it's based around this tomb, it's hard to believe that it's not connected. If we were to take a look at the Poussin painting, the predecessor, oh sorry, not his predecessor, well, Guerrero was the predecessor of Poussin. This absolutely famous painting, and I've just got his finger highlighting the R, and just because in our woodblock carving it was argon. But this is quite simple as well, because there is only a couple of lines on the page. So what I'll do is I'll highlight this gentleman's stick, and what you can see, I have kept to the outside of the stick. You know, I've not like started at one side of the stick and then ended at the other at the top. I've really tried to stick to the one straight edge. I'll highlight this gentleman's stick, and what we find is we can place a heptagon in between these two, and once you're able to do that, it helps you understand what is getting pointed out here. Because if you look at this two gentlemen's fingers, the line travels through the alignment of these two fingers, and that would allow us to actually draw this line. And if you look, his alignment is actually running from his eye to his finger. This gentleman. So what you actually have in the picture is just basically this, allowing us to place our 7-sided tomb right in the middle of this Poussin painting. So this Et in Arcadia Ego is no doubt in my mind very strongly connection with the Rose Cross, and they had no qualms about displaying it. So if perhaps you've seen something that I've missed, or you've been doing research on the manifestos and would like to share some of that, come along and join us at the Trail of the Green Man. Come join the Discord or come to the Facebook group. We would love to see you. We're looking for any help we can get, and it would be nice to have you there. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the video,